The next valve we're going to talk about is the dump valve. So basically with this one here, as you can see, there's a lot of information on this page. And kind of what we wanted to do is we wanted to illustrate a little bit better for the customer and for our distributors and suppliers that we currently have. And basically what it does, it illustrates a separator. You know, you can see the gas leg with our meter run on it, and there's a back pressure control valve controlling the pressure on that vessel. We also have one of our liquid meters in there, and of course this is our dump valve. And basically the whole idea, this is probably one of the simplest valves that we have to set up, because basically it's not worrying about, the valve doesn't have to worry about controlling anything. It's not really doing anything at all. Basically all it does is it receives a signal to fully open or fully close. So basically what we'll do is, again, we have a little regulator in there, it regulates the pressure down. We have a little controller in there, and basically what it does is it's a fail close. So under normal conditions it's in a locked position. So when it's locked up, of course all that gas is, and we usually like to use gas because we get a lot better control on the control side. So as you can see, we take a little slip line here and we kind of run it from the gas leg, and we don't use water because we find that the valve reacts much quicker with gas than it does with water or liquids. So basically the idea is that this guy is locked up. All that gas is allowed to come in here, and because this is all the same pressure on this side of it, of course these pressures are equalized again and the valve is locked up. And of course what happens is your level sensor, or your level comes up in your tank, hits your level sensor, it switches, it sends air down to this guy here, hits the underneath of the diaphragm, snaps it open, and of course as soon as it snaps it open, it just dumps all the gas off the outside of that bladder, snaps the valve open, and you've got instant height, instant volume through the valve. And like I said, now this is where it really becomes critical. If you fine tune that little restrictor valve, what it does is it really allows you to fine tune it. So basically a couple scenarios that we may run into is that obviously we have a liquid meter in there. If you have a liquid meter and you need to have good accuracy for that turbine, you know, you don't want the valve to throttle open. You want that valve to snap open so that you get instant high volume, max flow through the valve, so that you've got that good accuracy for that turbine meter. Obviously if it's throttling open, you know, you're building up your flow rate is coming up, and during the good part of that dump cycle, you know, you may be well below the flow range, the accuracy flow range of that turbine. Where with this valve, and then with a snap acting, of course it snaps open, you've got instant full volume, and you get good accuracy for the turbine. Now if you've got other problems in there where you've got sand and you don't want that really high volume because it's tearing out trim and stuff like that, again, in that kind of a situation, you know, we can tweak it back, we can change the, basically what we would do with it is we would open up the restrictor valve. So what that does is, by opening up that restrictor valve, it allows that when this opens up, it takes a little bit longer for that gas to get out of there. So instead of, if you pinch it right down so that the CV is very small, when this opens up, it snaps out of there very quickly, and the valve opens up very almost instantaneously. But where, like I said, if you have the CV so it's very close to the CV of that little pneumatic valve or that solenoid valve, when that solenoid valve opens up, it's only slightly larger, so it takes a long time, or a little bit longer, for that gas to get out, that pressure to get off that rubber bladder, and it takes longer for the bladder to open up. And of course then you get that throttling effect.